For 20 years now, Peter Gilchrist has been teaching consultative selling principles to real estate agents in 5 different countries. His systems are based on the premise of working with sellers and their objectives around selling their home. Peter qualified as a valuer and for many years ran a large real estate agency. In this video, he turns his attention to you, the seller, and explains in very plain English some of the strategies you can adopt to sell well and move on with your life.
There are 3 main parts to making sure you sell well. There is your motivation for selling, there's the market you're selling in, and then there's what I call the gap, which is related to the price that you put on your home, which I'll explain shortly. Let's look first at your motivation. This is all about your reason for selling and urgency that does or doesn't surround that reason. Now, I want to start this DVD by saying this should all be about you. It should be about what you're wanting to achieve here. Selling your house is, I find, just a step towards something else that you want to achieve in life. So let's start by being really clear around what this is. Write it down somewhere. What is it that selling this property is going to give you? Let me give you an example. This job transfer means we just have to sell so we can move to Sydney, or we don't want to give it away, but we need to sell it because we're separating. It's time to get on with our lives. We only get half each, but we really do need to sell the home. We just want to go in different directions. Another one would be this investment has gone or is going nowhere. We'd have a lot less stress or even more money in our lives and in our bank account if we quit right now. You see, this is not about the house. It's about what it is you want to do with your current situation, or in some cases, with your lives. You do not sell a property for fun. I find that people just want to move on with some aspect of their journey, and sometimes to do that, we need to sell our properties. So be very clear around what it is you're trying to achieve here. Number 2, the market you're selling on or are about to sell on. I think there are 3 types of markets that we move in that I talk about. Can I firstly say there is nothing magical about the real estate market. It is the same as any other. It goes up and it goes down, and sometimes it stays pretty static for long periods of time. It responds to supply and demand just like all markets do. So let's look at these 3 markets. One is a seller's market. Now, in this market, we know now that there's not as many listings around. Supply is down because they are selling faster. The average time on the market, which is crucial as we plan our sale, is shorter. My experience here that it's around 21 to 30 days on average, and that's quite fast. The seller has control in this market. Turn down an offer today because of the demand out there, chances are there'll be another one right along. The volume of sales in this market is high. More sales, more buyers in the marketplace means it is easier for those who want to move up or down or transfer. Success rate of auctions under the hammer, and I say under the hammer because there are 3 parts to the modern auction. You can watch those on my auction DVD, is normally high. You can get up around 95% here. Now, the second market is a buyer's market. Pretty well the opposite, obviously. More listings on the market. Why? Because the volume of sales is down. There is less demand for homes and they sit on the market for much longer, months and months in some cases. The average time on the market blows out in this particular market, from 20 to as high as 120 days on average. The balance market is the third market we need to touch on. Well, it's quite obvious. Enough buyers, enough homes coming on the market, and it all just evens out. The house itself here can be a catalyst for more or less demand. Really cool house may get more demand, so on. So the second exercise is to work out which market you're in. The newspapers and websites can help you here. Your agent can help you here. Different markets can mean very different decision making. For example, getting an offer on day one of a raging seller's market is a totally different deal than getting an offer on day one of a raging buyer's market, where it may be the best offer you ever get. How does the market you are in fit with your objectives so far? Now, the third main point to selling well is the gap or the price you put on your property. Let me show you first how pricing works. Then you'll be able to figure out a whole lot of what you need to do in terms of the market you're in and the objective that you've set yourself. In a moment, we're going to talk about finding the estimated market value of your home. But before we do this, it's important you know that once we find that value, there's what I call a reaction zone that sits just right above it. This reaction zone is normally, and I mean in any of the dozens of cities that I've worked in around the world, no more than 5%, and in a lot of cases closer to 3% above that estimated market value, as we call it. Now, how do we know this? Take a look at this. Here's a list of sales that I could get in any real estate office I cared to visit. It has 3 columns on it. One is the listing price when the home was actually finally listed and sold. So not the initial asking price, the one it was listed at when somebody came along and bought it. And have a look at the difference between that and the sales price. On average in this area, it's around 3.2%. And note also that I do not have to go far down the list to see that someone actually paid full price for a property. In some cases, buyers will actually pay more than the asking price if they have to get the house they want. So what does this mean? You don't have to be Einstein to work out that there's a strong relationship between the market value and getting a reaction, getting the offers, and eventually getting your home sold. I call this the gap. What happens here is this takes us further and further away from the reaction zone we know that's operating here. If you take us too far up this price column, then what kicks in is time. You will find that, nice house or not, even with all those wonderful alterations you made, simply nothing happens. You see sold signs going on all around you, or the agent you're dealing with seems to be selling other people's houses, but yours just sits. Can I say you may even get tens of people through your open days, and everything seems to be happening, but no one makes the offer. This gap is the key. This is what you have to pay attention to most of all, and no one seems to talk about it. We know that buyers surf the net and the paper looking for new listings. If you're too high, the fact is they simply cross it off or go look at it because it suits them but don't do anything. They vote with their feet and they walk away. Now, when they do that, it's very hard to get them back because of the thing called time. It kicks in. And no one wants a house nobody else wants. So you miss what I call the initial marketing period. It's pretty obvious. 1, that the buyers who are waiting all go for a new listing. And 2, the agents go back to the office and get the absolute best buyer they have right now. And even worse, they get all of the buyers they have right now and bring them through. In most cases, the best and the most buyers are through your home in the first few days. If you're too high, you miss it. Be clear here. Buyers become experts in an area. They respond to your asking price in 2 ways. If it's close enough to the market value, they'll engage. If it's not, they walk. They don't just make offers regardless of the asking price. That list of sold houses shows us that. They respond to market value, and when they see it, they pay it, even to the point of paying more in some cases. The market just doesn't care about your emotions. I'm sorry, they don't care about your divorce or the fact that you want to build a big, new, beautiful house. They simply compare yours with others and work out the value. What they do from there, I hope, is clear now. Now let's look at how the market values your home. It's done by comparison. If the house that sold last week had 2 garages and yours is the same but only has 1 garage, we deduct for that. If your house is the same but has great views of the ocean, then we add something on for that. You must be aware here of adding on for invisible costs. 2 identical houses are built on the same size lot, but one is built close to the street and the utilities cost $5,000 to get into the house. The other is built at the back of the lot and costs $12,000 to get the utilities to. You would not pay any extra for that house just for that reason. Some things just can't be added on to the price you see. Cost does not equal value in all cases. It is the same with money spent on a home. You did it for one of 2 main reasons. The first is for enjoyment. The kitchen was adequate, but you didn't like it, so you replaced it to enjoy a brand new kitchen to work in. Again, it will come down to comparison. I will not pay you the whole amount of your kitchen. I may choose yours over another to make an offer on, so you may sell quicker, but we can't just add up all of the invoices and add that on to the price of your home. The second reason you do alterations is for maintenance. Same deal. One roof is brand new. The other is adequate for the time being. I will choose your home so it may sell quicker, and I may give you something towards the cost of the roof, but you will not get all that you spent. So what we need to do is to get comparisons. So let's look at a checklist to get this right, to get you sold well. Number one is decide and be clear about the objective here. Isolate the emotions that might be getting in the way. Number two is make inquiries and work out what sort of market you are in. Number three, my belief is we should actually choose an agent. You got it. That's another DVD. But choose your agent first and then do the work on the price. Number four is figure out the estimated market value using the comparisons in the area and adjust as you go. Number five is pay attention to the gap between your asking price and that estimated market value. Keep it as close as you can, taking into account the market that you're in. Number six, remember having time has nothing to do with this. If you're not ready to sell, then wait and come on when you are. Number seven is don't just hand this over. Do not just ask your agent for a price. You know that it is irrelevant what they think now. Ask the agent to show you what the house is worth, not tell you. You want comparisons, tangible evidence as to why they are suggesting a particular figure. Go for a drive yourself or with the agent and get it right up front.